Hello everyone, this is Erin. Welcome back to Thrive Yoga Fit Transformational Coaching. So I made a big decision to transform my bodywork room into a recording studio. I am in the process of getting rid of the table that I'm looking at that's off screen, setting up my lights, setting up a proper screen, and going big. Yeah. I have been going through this process of kind of like thinking about all the programs that I do, like my coach training and my yoga teacher training and my advanced yoga teacher training. And I sat in meditation because at a certain point, and maybe you think this too, but like I'm pulled in a lot of directions. Besides that, I'm a studio owner, I'm an author, I'm a podcaster, right? So a lot of the time, people do both of my programs because they get so much out of one and they kind of see me and how I live my life. And they're like, well, if I'm to follow the path of success in the way that this person did, right, do as they do. And like, admire that. I've done that too with people until I found my own path. So they wind up taking both of my courses. So they'll take like a life coaching course, which has lots of yoga paraphernalia in it, and then lots of yoga training, which has a good amount of life coaching in it. And I was sitting in meditation and I would just feel like pulled and pulled and pulled. And like life coach Erin has to like wear, dress a certain way. And then yoga Erin has to dress a different way. It's like, how many clothes can I have? How many wardrobes? How many identities can I have? But the truth is that both of them are me. And both of them are responsible for where I'm at today. And so it came to me, I was like, how can I combine both of these into one training and streamline both of them and give sort of like a path for, the people that come onto the training. You can get certified as a coach, as a life coach, and you can also get a 200-hour yoga teacher training certification. Like, that's a lot. But if you look at the 4 elements of yoga, right? So it's hatha yoga, which ha means sun, ta or tha means moon. Sun, moon, balancing the energies. This is included in the posture practice, the asana, pranayama, right? This is hatha yoga. There's jnana yoga. Jnana yoga is the yoga of the intellect, right? Philosophy. You might think of coaching as more of like a jnana yogi practice. There's bhakti, which is devotional and, chanting mantra and like embodiment, right? Like I do that in my coach school anyway, avatars. And then there is karma. Karma is being in service. It's like you absorb so much from these trainings, like from your yoga practice or just like you absorb. And then karma is like selfless service of like giving it back. So those 4 elements, which is all yoga, is already embodied into both programs. And so I thought, well, why don't we add on to this? Let's do it in an exotic location like Portugal or Costa Rica or Thailand or Bali. And let's just keep this shit going. And so I had this epiphany and I'm super excited because I have felt split in too many directions and I've had this fear that I'm going to burn out. Just to be transparent and honest. And as my listeners, you probably see like, wow, I'm doing lots of things. Like, how does she do it? Well, I will say that my self-care is on point. Like it absolutely has to be. Like I make it non-negotiable, but also I am split in a lot of directions. And so at a certain point in your career, you kind of look at what's going on. And 1, how can I make this better? 2, how can I make this more accessible? 3, how can I keep doing this in a way that's smarter, that I'm not going to burn myself out, right? So when I thought about all those things, it sort of just kind of like came to me in meditation, which again, like another reason why I'm thinking of like combining this, and I'm like feeling very strongly about combining my coach course and my yoga teacher trainings, is that I see some of my coaches that don't do meditation and yoga. It's just like, they were kind of like, that's not the main chunk of this. This is the coaching is. I see them get in their own head, even with the coaching skills, because they're not connecting into their body. Now, in my coach course, I teach pranayama, like I teach some yoga stuff. I don't certify people, so you wouldn't be able to teach that unless, of course, you did a 200-hour, because then you would be if you chose to. But the thing is, these postures and this breath, it is medicine. It is medicine. If you want to do what I do, and if you want to be a healer for other people, like, you need to give to you, and you need to access the intelligence and spiritual technology of your body. That is what yoga does. That is why I do yoga, is because you can start to access this sort of like yoga superpowers. They talk about it in the Yoga Sutras in the third pada, Vibhuti-pada, and they talk about how you can, as a practitioner, like start to access these powers, use them in the right way. So connecting to your body, but sometimes you need to be able to guide your mind, give it something to chew on, organize your thoughts, your emotions, because, cerebral, the intellect of the mind is a real thing too, and you need to nourish that as well, right? So we're complex beings. There's many aspects to us, and intelligence exists in the brain as well as in the body. And so combining them just, to me, sounds brilliant. So there is a chunk of time spent together where you're using all the techniques, you're mindful, you're with your sangha, right? And then there's online modules, and there's some people that might take that course and they're like, you know what? I appreciate the life coaching stuff that you're doing, but I am really here for the teacher training and I'm going to enjoy that part. But the online modules, like, I don't want to actually get certified as a coach. I'm just going to come and enjoy. The same thing with yoga teacher training. I don't want to get certified. I just want to come and enjoy. Awesome. It's affordable, especially for 2 weeks, anywhere between $4,500 to $5,500 for 2 weeks in a tropical location with most of your meals included. Like, that's a deal. And it's active. Like, you're doing a lot. And you're making friendships and you're bonding, and I always have excursions. So it's really fun. For those that want to take it all the way, you won't find a better deal. I'm just saying. And you won't find another program that incorporates all the elements that I do in the way that I do, because it's not disjointed. This is how I live. This is how I teach. So when you're receiving that, you'll receive it from a person who actually knows how to integrate both of them into their lives and uses them, right? So yoga has beautiful ethics behind it that will help you with coaching, as far as, for example, asteya, non-stealing. So as a coach, I did a live about this a few minutes ago, but as a coach, you never want to steal away your client's journey. How do we do that? Well, you are outside of them. And if you're peaceful, if you're calm, if you're present, you might be able to see their truth before they see their truth. Now, just pointing that out, or just sort of swan diving, and revealing their truth to them, you steal away the most important process for them, which is their own revealment of themselves. When you just dive in, you take away that process of them slowly and maybe slightly uncomfortably peeling back the layers themselves. What happens when that happens is that you've just given them the fish, right? Haven't you? You haven't taught them how to fish. So by being in line with yoga ethics, for example, of asteya, which is non-stealing, you would be like, you know what? Am I doing this for them, or am I doing this for me, right? We get it too attached to the end result. The process, and being in the process and being mindful and being able to feel, is a huge part of what I teach. And as a coach, if you want to do this for a living the way that I do, you need to be comfortable with your own discomfort as you patiently trust and ask good questions and allow your client to gently reveal themselves. I call it a spiritual burlesque. So it's they're revealing themselves to themselves, these little silky layers. That's just one example. I have many, many more. I'm really excited about this. I know that people have wanted to work with me in different capacities. And like I said, a lot of my students sign up for all my programs. So this way I can have a comprehensive program, and then, oh, you want more? You will have another comprehensive program that involves all of it all over again, but with an advanced level. So some of the coaching stuff that you would have practice, for example, some of the basic techniques like the CLEAR formula, emotional processing, maybe some healing inner child, navigating belief systems, outcome and goal cultivation. You have to work with that for a while, I think. And then if you're practicing yoga and you have all that background of yoga, then you're going to become much more intuitively tuned to be able to understand the more subtle techniques that I use and that I teach. So to me, it just makes sense. They go together like peas and carrots, peanut butter and jelly, mac and cheese. So yeah, I hope that you enjoyed this podcast and maybe it's given you some things to think about. I have a training coming up in Costa Rica. I have just a few more spots. It is a beautiful mansion house, Olympic-sized swimming pool, hot tub. I'm taking around 20 people. I hope that you can join us. If you're interested in that, check out thriveyogafit.com. If you have any questions, reach out to me, Erin at erincoach.com. There is nobody else that's doing what I'm doing. Boom. Namaste.
Thank you so much for listening. If you want to support the podcast and if it's helping you, please consider writing a review. You can go to iTunes or Google Play, go into the search bar and type in Thrive Yoga Fit Transformational Coaching, scroll down, and you can leave a review. This helps other people to find me as well as bumps us up in the search ratings. Also, this podcast is sponsor-free, so that means we don't receive anything for doing it. If you feel so inclined and this podcast is helping to support you and you want to return the favor and help to support any production costs of the podcast, feel free to give a donation to a Venmo link, Thrive Yoga Fit, or PayPal, Erin at erincoach.com. If you don't have the means, don't worry about it. We're not going anywhere. You're all good. But if you would like to give back, you can give back in those ways. Last thing, we have a coaching certification coming up, and it's 7 days of an intensive work, followed by a 3-month mentorship. You will not find another teacher that's more passionate and dedicated than I am to my students and their learning, and not just their learning, but the application and how they show up in their life. If you've been listening to this podcast and it's had a huge impact on your life, just imagine what it would be like to spend 7 intensive days with me and then a 3-month mentorship. You can check that out at thriveyogafit.com/coach-certification. Again, thriveyogafit.com/coach-certification. Thank you so much. Namaste.